Democrats and teachers unions have made an utter mess of your children's education. Nearly 1.3 million students have left public schools since the start of the pandemic. Many students are so far behind, it could take them 2 years to catch up academically. And right before the start of the new year, there is now a nationwide teacher shortage, but teachers unions and liberal lawmakers who push these lockdown policies and are hoping people will forget all about it.
But first, they must reopen safely. We know that kids need in-person learning and that remote instruction is no substitute for it, but it has to be safe.
Bottom line, learning is non-negotiable, but neither is safety. We estimate at this moment at least over 90% of our students, and you can argue it's closer to 95, 97% of our students are likely to start the school year with distance learning.
And as we get closer to the midterms, Democrats are trying to win back parents by talking about everything but education. So, Greg, don't you think that more people would leave the public school system if they could, but they're trapped?
It's one of the upsides of the pandemic is people actually saw what the teachers were doing to their kids. This is another example of this weird flip going on. It used to be the Democrats' rallying cry was, what about the children? That's all you heard. It became kind of a point of mockery. What about the children? Children are the future. Now it's, what about the teachers' unions? What about the drag performers? They should be allowed to perform in classrooms. What about the rights of the non-binary instructor to explain their gender preferences to a toddler? The Republican Party is the de facto party for the parents. What if, I mean, what would you rather align with if you had kids? I don't have them, so I'm just speaking for the parents here. But would you rather have be part of a party that wants your kids taught, or shut down, locked down, or targeting parents as domestic terrorists, or that actually support your parents? It's only one party that's really doing it, and it's the Republicans. Basically, parents are free money on the table, and the Republicans should get up there and grab it and talk about the numbers of these kids not being in school, the damages to their psyche, the obsession with sexuality, the desire for surgery to correct toddler behavior. Isn't Biden actually paying for now, like, breast implants for men? I mean, this is the Democrats, in a way, have turned children into experimental subjects, you know, through biology, through gender, through education. So Republicans now have to be the rescue squad. They have to be the parents' party. I think it's kind of happening, but they're usually really slow on these things. That's why I have to kick them in the pants.
So, Kennedy, there's been a number of Republican governors who've decided that actually we can't afford for people to take their kids out of public school because they're still paying property taxes for the public school system. So we're going to allow them to take some of that money and actually put it towards the education of their choice, which has opened up a number of opportunities for parents and school choice.
And that's what the school choice movement is all about, actually having the choice. It's one thing to say, well, send your kids private. Most families can't afford $30,000 a year per student. But if it were something like $6,000 or $7,000 a year, and that's what you're already paying in taxes for your kids, then places like Arizona are signing, you know, the governors are signing legislation that goes through the state legislature that allows parents to make those choices. If you want your kids to, as Greg said, have lectures about gender preference and everything, then you can send your kids to a school like that. That's fine. If that is what you want, go do a bang-up job. If you actually want your kids to be in an environment in school, in person, where they're learning math and science and reading, then maybe you should be able to have that choice. And I hope there are more lawmakers and more states that allow parents to do that, because teachers' unions overplayed their hand. There are two things parents will not forget, Americans, not just parents: the withdrawal of Afghanistan and what public schools have done to kids in this country that was exposed during the pandemic. They will not forget that, as much as they try with the smoke and mirrors to make it all magically go away.
So, Jesse, while people like Randy Weingarten were up there talking about how things had to be safe and they wanted to reopen, but they had to take care of themselves first rather than thinking about the long-term effects of keeping children out of schools, they were basically holding the taxpayers hostage for more money that has been now spent inappropriately, and we know that they basically exclusively donate to Democrats.
So it's a money laundering operation. The teachers union say, hey, guys, we can't teach unless the classrooms are clean, so send us all this cash. and then they take the cash, they don't open up the classrooms, and then they send the cash back in terms of donations. And then all the test scores go down, and the teachers union say the same thing, and they say, see, this is why we need more money, so we can hire more teachers that can donate more to you guys as a political party. And then there's a discrepancy between the white scores and the black scores, and they say, see, this is why we need CRT, because it's a racist system. And then all the students come back from the lockdowns, all psychologically damaged from the lockdowns, and they say, see, this is why we need to push this gender propaganda on these kids and groom them. And then all the parents will say, wait a second, I don't like this at all. And the teachers union say, butt out. This is our child. And then have the Biden administration slap like terrorist tags on them. I don't think the Republicans are going to do anything about this. It kind of reminds you of that mortgage meltdown in 2008 when everyone was like, put these guys in jail from Wall Street. Was a single Wall Street banker that cooked up this paper prosecuted? Nobody. Same with the Fauci thing. He's not being criminally investigated. January 6th did not damage the country as much as these lockdowns. But we have hearing after hearing after hearing on January 6th and no hearing on the lockdown. If you are a public policy person and you're pushing public policy that's killing people, that's destroying people's civil rights and hurting a generation of kids' brains, you should be able to be prosecuted criminally.
So, Jessica, the World Bank estimates that because of this lack of learning and the lockdowns, they've lost $17 trillion of earning potential for the generation that was kept out of school. So given the damage the teachers union has done to itself, what is the Democrat solution to making up for lost time and also trying to get kids back to public school, given the environment?
Well, I think that Democrats need to talk specifically about the American Rescue Act dollars that went to these schools that haven't been spent, and to be very clear that they want to see it go into summer school resources, after-school tutoring, mental health services, everything to try as best we can to protect the kids that are still in the system, and then a national campaign to get those 1.3 million kids that aren't in school anymore back there if they can, and to make a cogent argument.
It's homeschooling. They're still in school.
No. Back into the public school system. Some kids, though, are not in school anymore. We did lose kids that just stopped. Right, just disappeared, and there's no accounting for them, especially in major metropols. So I think Democrats need to talk about this. If you look at what happened in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin is the governor there because of the education issue, and he ran. I want to bifurcate what he talked about. He talked about this problem. He didn't talk about CRT or Drag Queen Story Hour because he was like, listen, there are moderates and on both the Democrat and Republican side and independents who are not going to be persuaded by that. They're not buying this argument, but they do care that their kids were masked or they do care that their kids were at home. And Phil Murphy, if you read, there was a series of pieces interviewing Democratic voters about what was going on in New Jersey. And this was the only issue where they were persuadable on because they said, I support the Democratic agenda top to bottom, except for the fact that this happened to my kids. And there's nothing more personal than what's going on with your children.
Amen.
That's true.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.